Hello, 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 and welcome to a Focus On video where this time we focus on the size of everything. Map sizes, island sizes, how long it will take these pioneers to get from one end of the island to the other. And I'm going to tell you some things that have never been published before. I've only managed to find them out through observation. So what are some of those things? You might be surprised. Did you know that these weaponsmiths are about 6'1" or 1 meter 86 centimeters tall? Did you know that this settler is walking at about 4 miles an hour? The area of this field is about 13 meters squared. That's a lot of wheat. Our ship, the Venturer, is about 60 meters from bow to stern, not including the bowsprit at the end here, but that's about the right size to carry 400 pioneers. Our foresters have a range of about 5,800 meters squared that they can plant trees in, and that's about 280 trees that they can plant given the distance that the trees have to have between them. It would take them about 48 seconds to walk from one end of their domain to the other. And finally, this will blow your mind, although this is a 1000 by 1000 map, this mini-map in the corner is much larger than that. Now at this point some of you are doubting me, maybe you're thinking, oh, Ihlamur just makes good guesses. Well, I'm going to take you through exactly how I figured out how all these measurements and how big things are. So we start off with the question, how big is the map? And we've got two maps, the mini-map and the play map, the thing that we actually build on. And you've got the total map area of the mini-map, and we can know how big that is in pixels. We don't actually know how big that is in meters. Now you might be saying to me, we do know how big that is in meters. When I pick the map size, it's either 900 by 900, 1000 by 1000, or 1150 by 1150. And I would say to you that's actually not the total map area. What that is that's the available map area, the place where the island can be built. And within that you have the island area, and we can see all of those if you zoom all the way out on the mini-map. The play map has the same pieces, and you can see that if you scroll all the way to one of the sides, it goes all the way to the edge of the mini-map, and so they're a representation of each other. Now there are some dimensions that we know. I played a map, it was 1000 by 1000, and at the end of the map it told me exactly how much I'd explored and discovered. 347,074 meters squared, that's the island area. And I know that my available map area on this 1000 by 1000 map is 1,000,000 meters squared, so the island area takes up 34.7% of the available area. On the other side, and this is the actual map, I enlarged my screen as much as possible, scaled up the user interface so that this map, I could take it into a paint program and look at exactly what the island area was, and that's the pink part, and that's 347,774 meters squared, but that actually translates to 40,046 pixels. Approximately. There's some anti-aliasing going on, so it's a little bit, it's close to this. That means that 1 pixel, the area of 1 pixel, is 8.67 meters squared, roughly. Now the total map area, I know, is 442 pixels by 442 pixels, which is 195,364 pixels. Got this from my paint program. And that means that the island area takes up 20.5% of the total map area. So the total map area isn't the same as the available map area. They're actually very, very different. How different? Well, if we take this 20.5% across and look at what that would mean for the total map area, that means we've got 1,693,197 meters squared, or very, very close to a side-by-side of 1,300 meters. We can do the same on the other side to look at the pixels of the available map area on the mini-map. 34.7% comes up to 115,382 pixels on the minimap if you're looking at it on the expanded UI, and it's taking up 442 by 442 pixels. So we've got some measurements now, and from this we can take away the bits that we don't need. What we really wanted was that available map area, because that's going to help us understand exactly the length and the height of our map. So with these two, we can get a ratio. 1,000 by 1,000 means that it's 1,000 meters per side. On the other side, we've got 340 pixels by 340 pixels, makes up 115,382. It's just the square root. So we've got 340 pixels, or the length of 340 pixels. And so we can understand that the length of one pixel is 2.94 meters according to this map. Now, I didn't just do this one time, I did this a number of times and on different map sizes. And actually an interesting thing here is, depending on the map size you use, the length per pixel changes, as you would expect, because you have to fit a larger area into the same size mini-map. So for a 900 by 900, one pixel equals 2.75 meters. For the 1150 by 1150, it's 3.05 meters, and actually I did the 1000 by 1000 a few times. I did all of these a few times and averaged it out so that on the 1000 by 1000 map, on my mini map, where I can get it up to 442 by 442 pixels, one pixel is 2.95 meters, and that's length. So from this, we can figure out how big the buildings are in the game. And I'm going to use the 900 by 900 now, so one pixel is going to equal 2.75 meters, because that's the greatest accuracy that I can have. It's more accurate than the other two, or more precise, I should say. And so if you look at the zoom in the minimap and you look at the difference between the most zoom and the least zoomed in, the most zoomed in is actually 12.5 times closer on the 900 by 900. It's different on other size maps. 12.5 times closer than the most zoomed out. And so from that, we can say that when you zoom in, when you get as close as you can on the minimap, then one pixel it equals a third of a meter, basically. A third of a meter. And I put a 4x4 building, put a military academy in my map. So that's a 4x4 plot building, and measured the perimeter of that, and how wide and how long that was, and it's got a length and a width of 49 pixels. So from that we can understand that a 4x4 building is 16.3 meters length and width. But if I put neighbors next to it, those neighbors actually reduce the size, because there's anti-aliasing going on. And so if I position neighbors right next to it, the size of it goes down to 39 by 39, which would mean that the size of the building is only 13 meters by 13 meters. So how do we resolve this? Well, what I did was I put down 5 fields, and I made sure that they were right next to each other diagonally, so there's no spaces in between. And then I took the cross of each one. I did this in my paint program, and so this is now modeled. And if we just take the centers, we go from center to center of the first and the last one, then we're modeling a 4x4 building, and we're doing it without the anti-aliasing. We've managed to get rid of that. So this 4x4 is 43 pixels by 43 pixels, which if we multiply it by our meters ratio, means that a 4x4 building is 14.3 meters by 14.3 meters. And if we look at a 1x1 building, that means that 14.3 divided by 4 means that one side is 3.6 meters by 3.6 meters. That is the plot size on the actual map. And of course 3.6 times 3.6 is 13 meters squared. So that's the area of a building, that's the square plot of the building. And so obviously from this we can extrapolate how long roads are and things. So this road is going to be longer than 21.6 meters, because actually the distance from the 6 plots that we've got there along that part is 21.6 meters. And if we take that and we watch our pioneers very carefully, we can understand how fast our pioneers are walking, and also how many strides they're taking. So here we've got a pioneer, and if we count the number of seconds it takes him to walk this 21.6 meters, or the 6 plots of 3.6 meters each, we see that it's exactly 12 seconds long to get there, and that's while carrying something. So also important to understand how long it will take him to walk if he's not carrying something on the way back, for example. And I'm happy to tell you again that it's exactly 12 seconds. So from this we can understand that he's walking at a speed of 1.8 meters per second, and that's actually 6.5 kilometers per hour. Or for Europeans, that's 4 miles per hour, which seems completely reasonable. We can also understand his stride, because it took him 28 strides to cross that threshold, 28 strides. So his stride length is about 3/4 of a meter. And if we go to verywellfit.com, we can calculate from the stride length how tall these pioneers are, and we convert it into inches. It's about 30 inches, and we see that our pioneers must be about 6 foot or 6'1". And by doing the calculations, putting it into metric, 1 meter 86 centimeters. So that's how tall these pioneers are. Of course, after that we want to know how big the boat is. So I've called these pioneers out, and this guy who's just about to walk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strides. It took him 7 strides to go past that metal grill, and I'm going to use that to figure out exactly how long this boat is. If we look at the boat from this angle, try to get rid of any perspective kind of differences due to perspective. If it was 7 strides, then that's about 5.5 meters for that grill just below the last mast there, and the boat itself, well, that grill is 111 pixels on my paint program, and the boat itself is 1193 pixels. So if I do the ratio and I do the math, that means that this boat is about 60 meters long, not including the bow spar at the beginning, the bit that juts out from the bow at the beginning. And what that tells me, along with these 3 masts and the fact that this boat carried about 400 people, is that this is probably a xebec, which was used in the 17th, 18th, 19th centuries, and would have been used by pirates a lot, but also by people carrying cargo. Could have carried up to 400 people. Had these 3 masts with the Latin style, the triangular style, and then the mizzen, that final 3rd mast, used for steering and more control. And so I think we can say this is a xebec. So perhaps more importantly, we can then figure out what kind of ship that is. We can start understanding the ranges of some of these buildings. So putting a Forester down, and I've already done a deep dive on the Forester, so this is a bit late. Putting the Forester down, we can actually calculate the range by putting the buildings out. So I've calculated that this is 14 buildings away, including 1 building for half of the Forester, because it's from the centre there. So 12 plots away from the edge, which gives us a range of 43.2 meters for the Forester, which gives them an area to plant trees in of about 5,860 meters squared. And it's going to take him about 24 seconds to walk from his house, or the centre of his house, to the edge of his range. So that's roughly how much room he's got to work in. Now, something that's quite interesting is that the radius around a single plot is about the same size as the amount of room that a tree requires. So we can calculate roughly the area that a tree reserves and doesn't let any other buildings in. So if we look at what that is, the radius of this plot can be discovered by taking half of one of the sides of this, which would be 1.8 meters. That's a quarter of the plot. Looking at the diagonal to get the radius, which is 2.55 meters, and then calculating the area, which is pi r squared, to give us an area of about 20.3 meters that this tree is reserving. And so if we look at the 5,860 meters squared that a Forester can move around in, and then say that each tree is going to take a roughly 20.5 meters, that means that the Forester can plant about 288 trees if he had a completely clear plot, no other buildings, and was able to plant trees on the whole field, including his own house. So it's just slightly less, maybe 280 trees would be the maximum that a forester could plant. The other interesting thing is that roads can go closer to trees, so you can go in between, and that obviously makes sense because the road is about the same width as a building, so 3.6 meters, and the trees have to be about 5 meters apart. That's that 2.5 just times 2. So that's why roads can go in between trees, whereas it might be more difficult for a building, for example, which isn't able to go in between trees. So if you've reached the end of this video, congratulations, you now know more about pioneers of Pagonia than probably anybody else who hasn't watched this video, at least about the sizes and what you can fit where. I hope you have a lovely day. We will be using this in our future focus on videos to measure and calculate and compare different buildings and the ranges that they have. That's really where it will be of use. But for now, it's just interesting to know, isn't it? So have a great day. Have a lovely time. Bye-bye.